Okay. So with that, I want to put, I definitely want to leave with this one because, because of the school that you all are in and the field that you all are in. This is actually one of the primary justifications why most agencies, institutions, companies, whatever title you want to give it, are really embracing diversity now. Diversity in the workplace is important for employees because it manifests itself in building a great reputation for the company, leading to increased profitability and opportunities for workers. I like opportunity, and I know I like profit. I like money. The second bullet, though, if current trends continue, the population of the U.S. will rise to 438 million in 2050, and 82% of the increase will be due to immigrants arriving from 05 to 50 in the U.S.-born descendants, according to the U.S. descendants. And according to new projections developed by the Pew Research Center, of the 117 million people added to the population during this period due to the effect of new immigration, 67 million will be the immigrants themselves, and 50 million will be the U.S.-born children and grandchildren. Okay, so let me just pause there. So when I read this, it says by 2050, so that's what, 34 years from now. By 2050, our population is going to look a certain way. And so now companies need to start to do what they need to do to get ready for this, okay? And that's the primary justification. And let me ask you, has anyone else seen this kind of information or heard this kind of conversation around the, okay, all right, so a couple of people have. Now, this is why I'm probably about to make myself a bad person. I agree with the numbers. I disagree with this being the reason why we embrace diversity. I disagree with this. Now, let me tell you why, right? Okay, let me put myself out there. I don't disagree with the material. I disagree with this being the reason why. It's 2016. The people that we're getting ready for are already here. We don't need to start now. We should have started in the 80s. We should have started in the 70s because the people are already here. My problem with this is that this is about money to me. Now, don't get me wrong. I like money. I think you all do too. Especially when that debt kicks in. I think we want money, all right? You want money, I want money, all right? But to start from this point on, the reason that this is a problem, to me, this stems from fear. Because this is reactionary. We need to do something now so we can move forward. My problem with this is that if we start now, you're disregarding what happened before we got here. How do we get here? It's not a coincidence, in my opinion, I don't mean any disrespect to women in the room, it's not a coincidence that most administrative assistants in this country are women. It's not a coincidence that we have more women getting PhDs, but we still have more men in leadership positions in the country. Men should, and here's the thing, I don't feel bad because of that, I just understand that's facts, all I'm talking is facts. I'm not talking my opinion, that's facts. And it's not a coincidence to me. I don't feel bad, but I do know that I can do something that I can contribute to making it better, or I can contribute to keeping it where it is and making it worse, right? Depending on my position as a supervisor, if I have that kind of access, all right? So, we got here, but I don't dwell on the past, but I definitely don't avoid it. That's one of the problems where I think diversity is having a hard time in our institutions. People are afraid to deal with that. They're afraid to talk about what happened. They're afraid to understand that we've operated out of sexist policies for a long time. And in a lot of cases, racist policies too. We have cultural, as a matter of fact, I kind of consider cultural racism to actually be a part of it because we operate in a lot of our places very monolithically. Our policies aren't based on multicultural, it's really based on one culture, okay? And so so I think that we have to work to expand and to grow, but we have to do it in a reasonable way, right? Because companies have gotten to this point of being successful for a reason. So we don't want to get rid of the success, but we also acknowledge that there's some things that we need to be doing to make the situations better for more populations. So this is what I look at diversity as. I see diversity as a problem-solving tool. To me, that's the best benefit of unifying and diversifying any movement. My colleague, Mickey Fern, hopefully you all will get to meet him. He works here on campus. He's in the College of Natural Resources with me. And he says, I just had to pull the quote, he says, when groups are exposed, which is going to, I think, at Fruitset is, I believe, similar to this, a more diverse range of perspectives, their values are forced to confront different viewpoints, and diversity does not just expand to common ground of consensus, it also increases the larger group's ability to solve problems. So that's why I like to do diversity, for the problem-solving part of it. To me, the United States in particular has the reason, or I would say its biggest strength is also its biggest weakness. To me, our biggest strength is that we are so diverse. We have so many beautiful, wonderful people here, so many beautiful, wonderful cultures here. And matter of fact, we open the door and say, come in and, please come, send us your poor, your hungry, do such and such, such and such. but I think it's our greatest weakness because we still don't know what to do with it. We've grown and we've built without having real discussions. We've grown and we've built with no dialogue about how'd you get here? How does this policy impact you? And how does this practice, what do you think about that? We've built so much. Matter of fact, social media is not slowing down. Social media is moving faster than anything. And we still have yet to have these kind of discussions that make our environment safer and less hostile for people from different cultures and backgrounds. So out of all the intelligence that we have and that you have, for some systemic reason, we still are having a problem. And I think part of it is because we haven't dealt with it. We haven't talked about it. And that's my justification. You don't have to agree with it. I told you, I'm not here to convince you. I'm just telling you what I know and what I get paid to know. All right, let's go. So, this is the slide because we're getting ready to transition and do another activity. So, y'all get ready to get up. Relevancy, diversity, and inclusion. I actually borrowed this from the National Park Service because this has been what they've been working on for the last 8 years. John Jarvis, the current head, who's going to be stepping down soon. Now, he initiated this. Relevancy and diversity. RDI is the deliberate, systematic inclusion of diverse and contrasting perspectives and viewpoints to create innovative, meaningful, and lasting results. To be effective and provide a high return on investment, diversity training should be directly and clearly tied to measurable, meaningful business goals, yield a measurable improvement in participants' awareness, knowledge, and skills. Let me tell you something about the National Park Service. It is still, among government agencies, the most homogenous looking agency in the country. It still is. Even though John Jarvis came up with this over 8 years ago, and my colleague Mickey Fern worked there, this is still a problem for them. As a matter of fact, this is a good thing though. We have more women in the National Park Service than we do men now. So that's a big deal. Here's the thing though, when they've done surveys and how people work and how they get along, the women are basically outmanning the men. What I mean by that, the women have assimilated and they're behaving like the men to be promoted and to move up. So the other aspects that a woman will bring to the environment is not being brought to because, remember, homogenous, monotheism is still there. So the women are basically doing what their counterparts are doing so that they can move up and it's working, but it's not naturally who they are. And if you're not paying attention, you won't notice that. You'll think, oh yeah, hey, it's successful. Look at our organization. It looks so diverse, it's working. But how happy are your workers? Are they actually bringing the whole person to work, or are they doing what they have to do to get by and just survive? And so as you start this program, I really want you to think about that in your minds, and you all are going to be leaders running things. I'm sure you're already running things now. That's how you got here. But I really want you to process that and think about that, because even though the look superficial to me, that's all that is when we focus on the look. That's superficial. I mean, it's great. I love to see black, brown, white, red. Hey, bring us all together. Let's do it. But when I look at how we operate, I'm like, how is this impacting people? Are we really having that discussion and are we really looking at it? All right, so you all are looking at me and you seem a little down. And maybe